Okay, welcome back. So today we now have our head. I'll try and make it a little bit easier to see. We should have our head with a mouth and a joint that's really nice and firm and attached on there. I can't even move this joint. And our head is all ready to go. So now we're ready to cover it with skin. In order to do that, we're going to need a strip of doubled skin knit. So I'm going to hold it up so you can see a little bit better for the size. So here's my head, and it's about the same width as my head, sorry. You can see it's about the same width as my head, and it's about 2.5 heads tall. So what we're going to do is we're going to place our head, as you can see in the tutorial, on an angle so the joint is about here. And then when we draw, you're going to be drawing a line that starts at the bottom and goes up on an angle around the head and then goes straight up. I'm going to put the phone down just so I can do that. And then I will show you exactly how mine looks. Okay, sorry, I'll show you in 1 second here. So what I've drawn is a shape like this. So I had it like here, and you can see I went just around the head from the bottom, and then I went straight up. So it's about 1 head, 2 heads tall. So what you're going to do then is go to your sewing machine and using a stretch stitch or a triple stitch. So the zigzag or the triple stitch, I'll just show you on my machine right here. So this is the one I used. I made it a little longer, and when I sew just on the inside of the traced line. I have it set to about 1/8 of an inch inside the line when I'm sewing. So once you've got that, kind of worked ahead here to make this video more efficient. I cut out on the line. So you can see I went in just about 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit less, all the way around. At this point, I'll put you down and I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to take the bottom where we're going to have the joint go through. I'll snip off some of these threads. And what we're going to do is make a small hole. You can use your awl or you can cut a small hole there. My scissors don't like this fabric very much. So you see I cut just a small little hole, see? I'm not sure if you can see that. So I have a small hole. And then I'm going to turn my skin inside out. So this will now be the back of the head. The seam is going to go run along the back. It's going to be completely covered with hair, and you should have a small hole at the point right here. So what we're going to do, see there's the hole right here, is I'm going to carefully, having my seam towards the back of the head, I'm going to try and fit the joint into that little hole. If it's not big enough, which mine isn't, I'm going to snip a little bit larger hole to ensure that I can fit my joint through it. You don't want it too large because you don't want the joint to fall out. So I snipped it just a little bit larger. I'm hoping it'll focus. You can see. And I'm going to try again. And if it still won't go on, which mine isn't, I'm being a little maybe too careful with how small of a hole I'm stitching, I'm going to turn it back inside out and just give it one more little snip. And then try it one last time, that should go through. Now you can see that the hole is right there. I'm used to making it for a smaller joint. I'm not used to doing the bigger dolls anymore. There we go. So it went through, but it's very tight still. That's good. You want it tight. And I'm going to pull it down around that joint all the way to the bottom. And then, like a sock, going to pull the skin up over the doll. Trying to keep that seam towards the back, but it doesn't really matter. You're going to pull it up and continue pulling, trying to make it as smooth as possible. I'm not going to want any of this. I'm going to keep pulling, but I'm going to need to pull it a little closer to my body for that. So I'm going to come back in the next video once I've pulled this all the way up and over and show you what our next step is.